This episode is brought to you by Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels and music are made for each other. They share a rhythm in the craft of making something timeless, while being a part of legendary nights. From backyard jams to sold-out arenas, there's a song in every toast. Please drink responsibly. Responsibility.org. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Doug. Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
The last show with David Cooper. Procrastinate your life away with us.
Everyone loves Taylor Swift, except maybe her new album. I am joined by media personality and co-host of the Jan Arden podcast, who's a diehard Swiftie. She would fight for Taylor to the death, probably. Caitlin Green, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me back, but you're wrong. I would not fight for the death for Taylor, but I do appreciate her presence as an entity in pop culture. And because I fancy myself a pop culture historian, I appreciate her role, but no, I'm not really a Swiftie.
It's white bread, milk toast, football, beer drinking, boring. I'm sorry, I'm a hater, but her new album has gotten such negative reviews.
Yeah.
The haters of the album are not getting canceled. Historically, if you said anything bad about Taylor Swift, the internet would rally and destroy you. But this album is so lousy or so mid that people who are saying they don't like it, the Swifties aren't canceling them. That's how bad it is.
It's true. And I don't find this album to be noteworthily more mid or more lousy than a lot of her other releases. And that's not to say that I don't like all of them. I like some of them. I just think that there was this sort of ethos around Taylor Swift that she was this second coming of Shakespeare as a songwriter. And that really never resonated to me personally.
No. The songs are about heartbreak and they're fine. And my girlfriend's always like, oh, it's about the lyrics. I'm like, fine. The lyrics are somewhat informed and interesting, I guess, a little bit. But she ain't Shakespeare.
Yeah. And I feel like this is where we don't need everyone to be everything all the time. She is a fantastic pop star. Man, can she write a hook. And like Madonna, she can create a feeling and a theme and a vibe and a look and a persona around every album. I think she is a marketing genius. I think she is a businesswoman above all else. And I really applaud her fight for her masters, her fight against Scooter Braun, her separation professionally from Scott Borchetta. I like all of these things about her, but she's not how I grew up listening to music. So I've never been that butthurt about her songs. But I still like them. I still think they're danceable and I appreciate them.
It's fine. I'm not, you know what? I'll degrade myself from being a hater. It's fine stuff. It's whatever. I just don't notice it that much. But this album, tell me about it.
Okay, so the album is called The Life of a Showgirl, but here's also the power of Taylor Swift. I was in a quirky greeting card store and I heard 2 sales associates and 2 customers having a whole think piece level dialogue about whether or not she was co-opting and stealing from burlesque as a culture.
You know what? I thought that myself a little bit. She ain't no showgirl. She's very prim. She's proper. She had country music beginnings. She doesn't have a grimy image. She ain't no showgirl.
Here's why I like her, because she gets everyone talking about pop culture. She gets everyone talking about music. People form opinions and they have a discourse, and I love watching it. So the album's Life of a Showgirl, and it is very, it's very her kind of talking about her love of Travis Kelce, her dislike of some other artist. Notably, everyone is assuming Charlie XCX being one person she's taking on this album. Other people think there's an album about Olivia Rodrigo, or a song about Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know about that. I don't know if she's ever going to validate any of those things. I will say there's one song on it that I think is maybe the worst song I've ever heard, at least her write. And it's called Wood. And again, it filed this under the case against her being Shakespeare. It's all about Travis Kelce's manhood.
Oh, I was thinking WOULD, like I would do something.
Nope.
No, we're talking WOOD, would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the lyrics are true drivel, in my opinion. So that song, I wanted to launch myself into space to get away from the cringe of it. So that I kind of, that one I didn't like.
Or at least fake it like Katy Perry. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah, but the other ones I thought some were really catchy. I thought some were quite nice and tender about her life. And she's always kind of had these public battles with whether it was Kanye or Kim Kardashian, or everyone thought she was battling with Katy Perry. Whether or not this is ever going to be confirmed that she's having this big drama with Charlie XCX, her fan base has certainly filled in the blanks. Charlie XCX posted an Instagram story about her in the recording studio. Everyone thought she was going to be recording some diss track. I think it would be great if they just came for each other outright publicly.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I feel like the men do it. I feel like why not now just women have like beefs, like 90s hip hop rap beefs kind of thing. Maybe less shooting, but still that could be fun.
Yeah, if we can keep it at the level of, Kendrick and Drake, then great. I mean, that would be amazing. We watched Kendrick troll Drake at the Super Bowl halftime show. It does not get more mainstream than that. And a lot of people are like, this is always women pitting each other against women. Sure, there's a piece of that that's annoying. But when Drake has had to fight every single rapper who comes for him, I don't think that feuding in pop culture is like a female-only sport. So, yeah, I mean, like, everyone fights with everyone in pop culture. Like, we just heard Hayley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore, come very publicly for Morgan Wallen. Like, this stuff just happens. So it's the nature of people caring what you think. It's the nature of entertainment. It is a form of entertainment. And like, I don't really mind it. So I saw her getting dragged and I was kind of like, really? Why? I don't get it. This album seems like just another Taylor Swift album to me.
That's how I feel about it at the end of the day. You're talking about the nature of people caring what other people think. That is the opposite of what's happening in late night TV right now. Ever since the Jimmy Kimmel canceled, not canceled, taken off the air, back on air, it seems like these late night hosts, not just Jimmy Kimmel, are in a real era of I don't GAF, give a fudge, in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
Broadcast Standards Council. For regulatory purposes, it's fudge. Anyway,
it's fudge.
I'm really liking watching Kimmel these days, and the ratings are getting really good on these shows. These hosts are going on each other's shows, like even though they work for competing networks and stuff. Colbert's in this phase of really not caring because he's got an end date of his job. But now I'm thinking maybe that end date will be extended, or maybe he'll do something else for another network. Like, this seems like a little mini revitalization of late night. If this is what the people who tried to yank Kimmel off air were trying to achieve, them being like getting bad ratings, they're achieving the opposite.
100%. This is entirely the point to be made, I think, to anyone who is like, in my effort to offend no one, I'm going to also connect with no one. I am going to be so dedicated to not talking about the thing that everyone else is talking about all the time that you are now going to be left out of the conversation. And I think that's what a lot of, TV shows and certainly what late night was grappling with. It's like you lost the plot in terms of you're not connecting with your viewers anymore. And even if you offend some people, it is your responsibility to tread that line responsibly and to know how to make people laugh about it and to know how to comment on it. And if you've given up on being able to do that, then I don't think it is confusing why you might have lost listeners. So now they've become the story again. They're at the center of this type of pop culture, political pop culture environment. And so now they're going to benefit from it. And I hope it's a lesson to a lot of these networks and corporations that if you can figure out how to take that risk and to do it responsibly and to do it intelligently, you're going to align yourself with all these people who you are reflecting their feelings.
Now, what are the things they're saying now? For example, Kimmel always cracked jokes about Trump and the right, but I feel like he's added this level of like meta, taking on the system, taking on the broken late night structure. Like, I feel like there's things that are being unleashed now that were never talked about. What, in your mind, are they adding to the conversation that wasn't there before?
Well, and I think that it's because they're going on each other's shows. So there is that. I think that there is the camaraderie you're seeing between them supporting Stephen Colbert, because a lot of people believe that his show was axed not just because of ratings, but because he commented on that payout that happened to Donald Trump from Paramount. And so I think that seeing them say the headlines out loud on their show, seeing them kind of like thumb their nose directly at the corporate overlords that they haven't been able to say anything about, or maybe were afraid to say stuff about earlier, that has always kind of been the role of comedy. And that's when comedy became a reflection of what was going on in everyone's lives. And I think that it's sort of instead of like punching down, it's the punching up. And I think that that's what people really like seeing, is like this feeling of, oh man, they're telling their bosses that they're wrong. And that's always very satisfying.
It certainly is. And it's something that I think we all wish we could do. So when we see our heroes do it, we see late night people do it, we feel, I don't know, revitalized, invigorated. I'm digging it too. I'm enjoying it now. I always kind of had my pulse on late night, but I'm definitely watching it now more. And, you know, that video of Jimmy Kimmel returning, it got many, many millions of views on YouTube. Again, if what the FCC and the current administration were trying to achieve was canceling these people, they're getting the opposite effect.
Yeah, it's the Barbra Streisand effect.
Yes, which we've talked about before. All right, when we come back, Austrian nuns are on the run. They were forced into retirement, but they have fled their retirement home. Where have they gone? That is what we'll find out here with Caitlin Green on, what do we call this? It's pop cultured like fungus? So stupid.
Sure.
So stupid. We'll be back with Caitlin in a second.
Want to be part of the last show with David Cooper? Call us and join the conversation. 1-888-505-6644.
When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
Taste the forbidden fruit of knowledge. The last show with David Cooper.
The nuns are on the run. Try to put them into retirement and they will escape that retirement home and head back to their convent. At least that's what happened in the Alps. It's my favorite story of the day, and the nuns are adorable. And Caitlin Green is here. Check her out on the Jan Arden podcast, which she co-hosts. Caitlin, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Do you like the nuns on the run? I just want to say that word. I feel like I don't have to tell the story. Just say nuns on the run 100 times.
Everyone loves this story. I love this story. It's definitely my favorite story that's come out in Q4 so far. And I like it especially because I can say Sister Bernadette, Sister Regina, and Sister Rita about the three main characters of this story. And they are three nuns all in their 80s, 88, 86, and 82. And they jailbroke from their care facility to go back to their crumbling convent that they said that they want to spend their last remaining days in. And the Catholic Church tried to say, no, it's too run down. We've got to send you to this care home. And they got there, they spent over a year there, and they said, absolutely not.
This is the real Sister Act. I mean, this is a movie.
Mm-hmm. This is a movie. This is a feel-good movie. I want to see Jane Fonda. I want to see Lily Tomlin. I want to see Dame Judi Dench. I don't know who you have to cast in this, but I would watch this movie.
But I think the wider message here is don't force people into retirement. If you stop living, you start dying. And these nuns just want to live. They want to do what do nuns even do at a convent? I don't even know.
Well, so these nuns were a big part of their community. They were educators. They were teachers at one time. They had students. I mean, they volunteer. They feed the hungry. They house people. Like they are, the church at one point was this big cornerstone of society. And it sounds like, based on the responses from people within the community, these sisters were beloved because when they said we were taken out of this convent against our will, we had the right to stay here until the end of our lives. They said that agreement was broken with the church. So they fled, they got back in. A local locksmith in town that knew them let them into the convent because they had changed the locks. Trades hooked up their water, hooked up their electricity. Doctors in town came to check on them to make sure they were okay. And the townspeople have been giving them a steady stream of grocery deliveries, food. And they said it's because the sisters helped them. And so they want to help them in return to spend their last days.
Oh, and they're forming community around these sisters and supporting them by having them there, even though they kind of need help to take care of themselves. You're creating community. This is a feel-good story.
It's so feel good. Sister Bernadette attended the school that was run out of the convent herself. She said she arrived there as a teenager in 1948, and all she ever wanted was to spend her whole life there.
And Provost Grossel, who is trying to put the nuns back in the home, is saying the convent is not usable and does not meet the requirements for proper care. But it sounds like the community's stepping up and providing that.
Yeah, they have. They just have, and the sisters, there's video footage of them because, of course, like local news has gone there. And there's video footage of them making meatballs together, like sweeping the steps. So, they're not invalids by any sense of the word. They're fully physically capable of preparing their own food. They just might need a little bit of extra help. I don't know that the church wanted to do that for them. And maybe that was sort of why they pushed them out. But I think there's a real villain in one Provost Grazel.
Yeah, I just wanted to say the name. You got to say the name of the nuns. Let me say the Provost.
Yeah, I would say Christoph Waltz should play whoever Provost Grazel is in the movie that we are now casting about this story, but I love it. They're back, and I don't think they're going anywhere.
What about Werner Herzog? He's like $1 million now, but I feel like he could be a good provost.
He could narrate.
All right.
Okay.
I feel like just like what's happening with James Earl Jones, I feel like Werner Herzog is going to get AI narrated into movies into the future after he dies.
Agreed.
I know that James Earl Jones, I think he's not dead, but I think Star Wars is using an AI voice of his.
Oh, really? And I thought he did pass away, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
You are correct. He did, but they were using AI before he passed away.
Okay.
September 9th, 1 year ago, may he rest in peace. Luke, I am your father, or whatever. Did he even say that? I don't know.
He did. I think so.
Okay. Let's do this next story. Hamburger helper economy. What does that mean?
Oh, I love this story. So this is, in the world of economics, there are many different things that economists use as unconventional measures of how everyone is doing financially. One such economic index is the sales of Hamburger Helper. And every time people in the world start to become a little bit less confident about their spending abilities, they load up on Hamburger Helper. And we are seeing sales go through the roof.
And is this like a good index? Can we say that we're in a recession, the economy's rough just because of Hamburger Helper?
Yeah, I mean, they're calling them struggle meals. Hamburger Helper is the one that's sort of wearing this, but they say anything from instant ramen to, tuna to canned beans. When these things start to go up in sales and we see sales of things like steak and prime rib go down, that usually is a case that people, are they have less spending money. They're scaling back. They want to save money. They may have lost jobs. So yeah, I think it is pretty reliable. And there's a few unconventional economic indexes that are pretty reliable, I think, in the world. Another one is strip clubs.
Yes, I spoke to a guy about the purchasing of frozen pepperoni pizzas, but I feel like strip clubs is a lot more interesting than pepperoni pizza. So before we go there, let's stick with that. People are spending less or just going less?
Yeah, so the stripper index has always been sort of like a funny concept used to provide like a lighthearted commentary on the economy when it's not doing well. But yeah, the strippers were the first ones who were tapped into the 2008 economic crash in the US famously. And so they started seeing their clients go down. They started hearing from clients who were coming in, talking about what they were seeing on Wall Street, what they were seeing in real estate. And so strippers sort of raised their hands and said like, hey, yeah, no, we're seeing a huge decline in clients. And when they do come in, they're not balling out of control. They're not coming in and throwing dollars around.
There's certain things where we purchase less of it when we're not doing so well, and there's certain things when we purchase more of it. And I guess strippers and Hamburger Helper. Side note, did you see the most recent season of The Bear where one of the characters makes the TV show where one of the characters makes Hamburger Helper for like some girl in her community, and she like made it with an onion and like tasty looking cheese? I feel like they really elevated Hamburger Helper, and I've been thinking of buying a box just to make it in that fancy way.
You should. I did not see that because I don't watch The Bear because I don't like people yelling.
Yeah, restaurant kitchens are probably not a good place for you.
Not for me.
It's a good show. It's a good show. I cry like maybe once every 3 episodes. It's moving. I mean, the deeply broken human relationships are portrayed well. But back on track here. Were you a Hamburger Helper family growing up? Because we were like a Kraft Dinner or mac and cheese family, but we were not a Hamburger Helper family.
I was that. So I was definitely Kraft Dinner as well. Being Canadian, I think that we lean more Kraft Dinner than necessarily Hamburger Helper. I think I had Hamburger Helper like once or twice. I definitely had hamburger casserole that my mom made, or tuna casserole. Oh, yeah. I feel like that was our version of Hamburger Helper. But yeah, like a Kraft Dinner with a hot dog cut up in it. I don't know. It can't be that.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. Something about ground beef and cheese mixed together. Yeah, I'm not about it. It's a weird food for me. Other things are dry ice, which is really weird. People are buying dry ice during a recession, I guess, for their freezers. Like, I'm confused by this index.
Oh, that one is surprising to me.
Oh, I misread. I'm dyslexic. Dry rice. That one makes sense. That one makes sense.
No, that makes absolute sense. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's all these sort of like cheap things. And really you can chalk it up to discretionary spending. It's the same reason why people start cutting back on subscriptions. They start cutting back on luxuries, whether that is a lap dance or steak or both. I don't know. But it seems like people are probably just, consuming adult content at home and having Hamburger Helper.
That's true. And I feel like steak and adult dances go together very well. A certain type of dude would like both at the same time. Maybe I should open up a strip house and steakhouse. No, maybe I shouldn't because we're not doing well economically. Any other kind of recession things that you like to purchase on a regular basis? I definitely eat instant ramen. Maybe I try not to eat it more than once a quarter because it rots your insides, but I'm a big ramen fan. Even if I was swimming in billions, I'd still have my ramen every now and again.
I definitely use ramen noodles. I feel like I take the ramen noodles, but I don't necessarily just use them in the broth, and I'll use them in my own version of ramen noodles, which is more like
fancy.
Yeah, a little bit more like I'll tweak it ever so slightly, but I mean, you really can't beat a ramen noodle. It's just, this stuff is just good. Even if it is cheap, it just so happens to be cheap, but it's definitely delicious. I think if you add a little bit of peanut butter, soy sauce, and get kind of like a mix going, add in the key also, if you want to do tofu, get extra firm tofu, grate it on the side of a box grater, fry it as if it was meat, and it's going to be crispy and good. Goes very well in ramen.
It's Recession Cooking here with Caitlin Green, media personality. Check her out on the Jan Arden podcast. Caitlin, it's a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
On October 17th,
I'm an angel. See the wings?
Don't miss the new comedy Good Fortune, starring Seth Rogen, Aziz Ansari, and Keanu Reeves. Critics rave. It's Heaven Sent.
Let me have a budget, guardian angel?
Kinda. You were very unhelpful.
Good Fortune, directed by Aziz Ansari. Rated R.